What is up, everybody? Today we'll be installing the EMAX servo. If you were having trouble turning your truck after mods or just abusing your truck, this will be definitely an upgrade to the stock servo, and we'll be showing you how to install that today. We're going to be installing this on my C10 truck today, running full droop suspension, custom lip, RC 4W wheels, and scramblers. This is the new EMAX servo that you'll receive, as well as the extra parts and screws. This is the brand new EMAX servo. You'll start by lifting the body and removing the servo from the ESC. You will then remove the two screws holding the servo into the servo tray. After you have removed those two screws, you can then remove the screw holding the servo arm into the steering links. This is a comparison of the EMAX servo versus your stock servo, as well as the length in the wire is very much longer than your stock servo. This will help us relocate the ESC and battery. We will then remove the two top screws holding the differential cover in the servo tray. Once you have done so, we'll remove the wheel, pop it off. We will then remove the two screws holding the links to the back of the servo tray. Now, the servo tray should be able to pop right out. It might be snug in there, so it might take a little force. Now you might notice the wire gets hung up on the stock servo tray, so we're going to have to do some modifications. This modification is very simple. You just need to cut here and here. We're taking a Dremel and cutting it very precisely and very carefully to not cut anything else. Servo tray should look somewhat like this to be able to make that wire fit perfectly. Now, as you can see, the wire is not being hung up anymore and is ready to be installed. We're going to be using longer screws and the stock wheel nuts used to hold the wheels in, because there's going to be a gap between your stock servo tray and your new EMAX, because the new EMAX servo is much bigger than your stock servo. So this is a cheap, inexpensive way to do this with parts that you might have at home. We're not going to tighten it all the way down. We're going to do the other side and then tighten them both down equally. Once we have the servo installed to the servo tray, we are then going to install the links into the rear of the servo tray. Once you have done so, make sure it moves freely and it's not too tight. Now we can go ahead and install the differential cover screws. Now we can go ahead and pop our wheels back on. Tighten them up, make sure they're snug, not too snug. After you have done so, we're going to start our relocation of the ESC. We're going to pop off the ESC, remove all that gooey, gunky stuff under the ESC that's holding it down to the tray, and remove the battery tray from the rear as well. Your battery tray might be a little bit different. Mine's aftermarket to make my setup work, so yours might be different. Next, we'll go ahead and cut some double-sided tape We're going to be installing this on the side of the ESC, and this will hold the ESC into the frame since we won't be using the tray, the old tray that came with it anymore. Gonna push it in there very, very snugly, and then you're gonna give it a little squeeze on both sides there, make sure it's sticking. It's in there snug, it's not gonna go anywhere. If it's not snug enough, your setup might be a little different. If it's not snug enough, put 2 sides of double-sided tape on one side and you might be good to go. Next, we're gonna be installing our battery, which is gonna go right in the front where the ESC was. First, we're gonna rewire our servo wire out of the way so it's not a mess, as well as our motor wire. You kind of neatly bundle it up so it's not in your way, just like I did. And now we're gonna put the battery strap through the bottom here, which we have to kind of pick it in there. I didn't want to unscrew it. Go ahead and plug in your battery. Now we went ahead and added the wheel waste that we had on the old servo back onto the new servo. We're gonna be taking this arm here and we're gonna be trimming it down all 3 sides, and we're gonna be using one arm. This arm is a lot shorter than the stock arm it comes with. Once you have sanded it down, we can go ahead and add some black paint to it. And this is just for appearance. Once you have done so, you can then install that servo arm to the steering links. You can go ahead and push it into the servo and screw it in. Make sure your wheels are straight and the servo is straightened out. I'm gonna go ahead and add some black paint again to that front screw there for some realistic scale look. There you go, voila, you have the EMAX servo installed. Once you have installed the servo, you're gonna want to set your endpoints. This will save your servo from a lot of extra work. Now as you can see, the servo is working great and ready to crawl. Let's see how it works, shall we? Thank you guys for watching. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe.